Hey IGN, I'm Mark Lamia. I'm the studio head at Treyarch, and we're here today to share with you our Los Angeles level for Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It's the year 2025, and we've seen a prolific rise in drone technology, AI, and robotics. What's happened in our story is our villain has gotten a hold of the keys to the US military infrastructure, and he's about to turn our greatest strength into our greatest weakness. You're playing as David Mason, the son of Alex Mason from Call of Duty Black Ops. You're here on assignment protecting the president. And this is Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Oh shit. Calm down. The bullet went through clean. You're gonna be fine. Still bleeding. I'm gonna give you something for the pain.
What's up, everyone? This is Anthony Gallegos from IGN, along with Mark Lamia, the studio head here at Treyarch.
Hey, everyone.
And we are here to talk about the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 demo. So I guess now that we've sort of had the stage set for us, right now we're starting off in what is obviously a pretty war-torn and destroyed Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's the year 2025, and we've had this drone invasion where the villain in our story has infiltrated the U.S. military infrastructure, and he has effectively taken all of our military strength and advantage, and you're now, what was once your strength and that you were fighting with, is now being turned on you.
I think what a lot of people are going to be surprised at when they're looking at this footage right here is just how much better this looks than some of the previous Call of Duty games.
You know, the team has been working on the lighting system. You're going to see tons of effects. This particular level, you know, a lot of the inspiration was drawn, you know, when you see, you know, sometimes there are these like massive fires and how it like blots out the sun and it literally turns into this, you know, almost hell on earth type look, was a lot of the inspiration here. You see the effects, the detail. There's just an unprecedented amount of detail going into everything that's going on in this world.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly don't hold any punches in this beginning part. I mean, we go from what's going on to, oh my god, everything's falling apart almost instantly.
Yeah, we put you right in at Call of Duty style. What you saw there with the actors, by the way, was performance capture. That facial animation, that's an actual actor's performance. That's why it looks so realistic. That is, we actually marker up their faces and we capture their voice and their body at the same time. So that is that actor's performance.
Yeah, I think we get a good viewing of that with some of the way that their arms and heads naturally move in a way that is pretty different from what we've kind of seen before.
Very, very natural movement. And you know, I think, you know, with regards to this entire scene, it was like we just wanted to set the stage when you just see this massive, unbelievable drone invasion, unlike anything you've ever seen. And it's heading for a real city here, obviously.
And it's surprisingly plausible, too. I mean, as if anyone's been paying attention, our drone forces have only built up over the years, and this is 13 years in the future where you could imagine that we would have a pretty massive fleet.
You know, working with our experts, we work with somebody by the name of Peter Singer. He is an expert in this area. He absolutely says, like, in the future, we're going to see this massive, massive proliferation and use of drones in the future.
Yeah, and the story too is I mean, it's pretty impressive, the people that you have working on it.
Yeah, we always, you know, I think one of the things we try to do whenever we're creating a Call of Duty fiction is have that, like, holy cow, this, you know, there's so much authenticity. Clearly, we're creating character and fiction and story, but we like to set it in this sort of believable, quote-unquote, universe for the player to then immerse themselves into.
Not only that, but I know that you guys have actually gotten some pretty, well, at least one legendary writer from LA, from the Hollywood scene, to kind of work with you guys on this, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're working with David Goyer, writer on The Dark Knight, and you know, we started working with him actually on the first Black Ops, and towards the end of that game, and he helped us with the script writing and really enjoyed that process. But he's been on this one from the very beginning. He helped us with the concept and the characters, and, you know, come up with who our villain is. I mean, this is the same guy who was the writer for Heath Ledger's Joker. So I mean, he's really helping us come up with some amazing character and amazing story.
So obviously this is taking place in the future and you want to have future tech, but I know that you've stressed to me in the past that having technology that feels realistic is implausible is also a big part of what you guys wanted to do with Black Ops 2.
Yeah, this is not a sci-fi game. Yeah, it's 13 years out in the future, but literally every single piece of weaponry that you see, we have to have our own backstory for it. Literally, the technology that you see, think about it when you see it. Does it exist today, or could it exist today? And maybe it's in a larger form factor because processing power hasn't caught up. And if you have to think about technology, think about computers, think about technology, things that start in bigger form factors, how they get into smaller form factors. You can see that with this sniper scope where you have sort of the technology that can see through things. Well, we know that we have that technology right now.
You see it
It's
in
just a
airports
larger-
all the time.
That's right. You put your hands over your head and it's swirling, around you, and it sees through things. The ability to have electronic charging of weapons so you can fire multiple rounds. That sort of exists right now in very large form factor with a metal storm. So every single piece of technology has a backstory, has to be plausible, has to feel like a little more than a decade out. This is plausible. This is a piece of technology that can exist. And 10 to 13 years out from now, you'll see familiar technology that exists today. Right? You'll still see that. We see that today, right? There's weaponry and technology that exists from 13 years ago that's still in use today, but it might have attachments or things like that that advance it, that keep it around. Because while it may be a useful tactical weapon, you need to have some technology to help you advance it and keep it in play.
I think this is the area, too, that we're seeing in this sort of downtown scene also shows a lot of the cool stuff you guys have been doing with particle effects, making smoke effects look even better than they ever have before.
Fire, destruction, environmental animations, those are all critical components to making that world feel alive and believable and just epic and cinematic, like you're literally in the middle of it.
So every Call of Duty game has always been about, everyone thinks of them as just first-person shooters, and that is a big part of the game. But I think people make a mistake when they think that you're always on foot. They always just have this idea that you're a guy holding a gun. So much of it involves like these set pieces where you're using vehicles and stuff like that. And so what we're going to see shortly is kind of a kind of different feeling vehicle sequence than we've seen in other Call of Duty games.
Yeah, absolutely. You're about to go inside and take over this VTOL right here, and you're going to fly it. It's not a rail where you're just going to be firing the weapon. You're going to be flying it, and there's actually two different gameplay mechanics we introduced to you in this one vehicle. It starts off as a VTOL as you're going to be flying through. That's what's going to be happening when you first start playing the game. And don't forget, in this single level, you've already driven as the freeway was collapsing. So there's just, I think in general, one of the things that we really wanted to do at this level is give players a ton of variety of gameplay. Not only do you have that weapons gameplay, but there's some great vehicle gameplay. There's a lot of new mechanics and a lot of fun for players. So, as you're flying through Los Angeles here, clearly it has undergone a lot of destruction. You can see the particle effects and the lighting and the smoke, and it's just, an incredible amount of detail that's going into this. And you're flying through it. You're protecting the president's vehicles down below. You're firing those cannons. You have really destructive missiles. You'll just see, the whole world is really coming down around you. It's really this sort of, has this, like I said, almost sort of Armageddon-ish type feel where it's like this is almost the end of the world type look here. You see the enemies. You can take them out. If you're firing rockets or weapons at things in the world, you see things collapse and fall. Whether it's the vehicles or whether it's the structures in the world, they take damage. So it's just this really epic and cinematic piece. And like I said, you're moving through as a VTOL, so it's a vertical takeoff craft. You have a great degree of control over it. You have your two weapons. You have an objective. You need to protect this vehicle.
So this part that we're seeing too, this is obviously very different than Black Ops 1, but what I think a lot of people don't realize when they see this is that even though this is taking place in the future, for the most part, the part we're seeing is taking place in the future, though there will be parts of the game that take place in the past, is that this is a direct continuation of the first Black Ops.
Yes, absolutely. So, you'll be playing in the late '80s with the characters that you played with Black Ops, Mason, Woods, and Hudson, and those are going to be the stories that take place during the first Cold War, where we juxtapose this Cold War from the past with the Cold War that takes place in the future. Which this villain here, who's created this incident in Los Angeles, this attack, he is stoking the fires of this new Cold War.
A new Cold War that's between the United States and China.
Yes.
Over what are known as rare earth elements.
That is at the heart of one of the conflicts. We keyed in on this element called rare earth elements, which are in all of our advanced
They're in every drone we're seeing.
They're in every drone we've seen. They're probably in your pocket, in your smartphone. They're in your laptops, and in reality, most of those most of the rare earth elements come from China. So in our fiction, as you have this villain who's stoking the fires of this Cold War, it can become a problem sort of at the heart of the conflict, much like you see with oil today in today's conflicts. So there's this other part here that we're showing you where you're going to be flying this VTOL at one part, and not just using it as a vertical takeoff craft, using it as a jet, and you are flying through Los Angeles, and you're warping through, and it's intense.
There's nothing like this in any of the other Call of Duty games.
There is nothing like this in any of the Call of Duty games. I mean, you are fighting, you have cannons, you have missiles, you are flying, you're bursting through it, and you're flying through all these buildings. It's just a really intense experience.
So that's a quick look at Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Thank you so much, Mark, for letting us see what you guys have in store. It looks really great.
Can't wait to show you guys more in the future.
Eject.